Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Coffee Club podcast. My name is Morg McDonald, and I'm joined by the co-hosts George Beamish and Oliver Hoare. And today we have our repeat guest, multiple-time Joe Klecker. Joe, how you doing today?
Doing pretty good. Happy to be back. Number 4.
First time in the studio.
First time in the new studio. I used to reside near the studio, but
I don't think we've recorded anywhere twice with you. I think with
St. Moritz
Nomad
here.
What about the backyard? Did we do one in the backyard?
Backyard in Longmont,
and then Boulder.
Kitchen table in Boulder.
Wait,
kitchen table Boulder.
Florida?
And Florida.
And Florida.
Yeah.
How many? That's 5?
That's 5.
Yeah.
All different locations.
Yeah.
That's very
So you can't come back on until we move somewhere.
Yeah.
Very, very impressive. We have a great show today. We have some fun games to play. We have a lot of news, which we may not get to, depending on things. And we have a very special athlete, celebrity call-in later. So lots to look forward to. First off, CEO Gus is making us say, if you enjoy the Coffee Club podcast in any way, please like, comment, subscribe, turn on the post notifications, leave a review on Spotify or Apple Music if that's how you get your podcast action. Helps the pod grow and ultimately lets us grow our community and do more exciting things in 2024. So we'll get into it now. BU is going to be the first meet for most of our team. That's going down next week, 1 week, I guess, from when this pod drops. So we'll do more of a preview on that next time, but just for those that are kind of starting to think about it, because we've been thinking about it a lot already. We're probably not going to be able to do any form of a group run or a meetup. It'll be a bit more of a business trip. However, follow on the Instagram or the Strava Club for updates on anything, because I think we'll have Tom Wang on the ground there, and we'll also have intern Avery Casillas. So I think there'll be free merch and stickers and stuff getting given away. So we're kind of trying to come up with some fun games and stuff for giving away, finding them in the stands and answering a question, making some cool content out of that. So yeah, look forward to that next week. I think next week everything will be BU orientated. But today, the big game that we have is we have the best meets draft. And for those who don't really know how this draft will work, it's just we've done it one time so far, which was the best milers draft.
4 by mile.
The 4 by mile, which was a lot of fun to do. We each will go around. I don't really know how we're going to decide the order or anything, but we'll have an order, a snake draft, and we'll go through all the different meets of the year. I mean, it can literally be any meet that we want, and we're going to try to assemble the best 4 meets on each of our teams, and then we'll leave it up to you guys, either on the Instagram or maybe in the comments, to let us know which team you think wins. So without further ado, time for the best meets draft. The year is 2024. The sport has completely imploded and needs to be saved. World athletics and all national federations have collapsed. Meet directors around the world have entered their respective races into the Coffee Club draft in order to survive. Big investors like Elon Musk and Mark Cuban are ready to invest in the Chicken Boy Morgs League, but the 4 horsemen of running and coffee, the 4 of us, are fighting to create the best roster of events to win over their bank accounts. Our potential league directors will attempt to craft the perfect race schedule, one full of excitement, fan engagement, variety, and overall experience. Welcome to the Coffee Club Best Meets Draft. Turn that sound down. How was that?
That's good.
I started to believe it halfway through.
You did a very good job of taking me there. That's for sure.
Big shout out to manager Tom Wang for putting that together, and a big thanks to the Discord, Instagram, especially Shawnee T for putting together a big bank of races, which we'll be looking through in order to find some inspiration. Not that we really need it. I mean, we obviously know all the different meets out there. So as I said, we'll go through, and I think the important thing also would be to make your case for every race that you pick, why you picked it. So now
what's the order?
Now into the hard part, the order. In the notes it says play odds/evens or rock, paper, scissors to determine order. But how do you play? I mean, I know how odds and evens works, but I don't know how that determines order.
Normally that determines teams.
Yeah.
Because you either a 1 or a 2.
We play rock, paper, scissors. You play rock, paper, scissors.
Yes. And then the winners.
And then the winners.
Losers have
Winner
to play
goes
each other
first, and then we just
then the winners go. The 2 winners face off.
All right.
And the 2 losers.
Okay. This has to be just quick bang, bang, bang. One on one. Ready?
All right.
Wait.
Me and Ollie.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Yeah. Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors.
Oh wait, we're doing it by
All right.
3. I thought
No,
No,
just
just
one.
one.
Just one.
I won.
George wins.
All right, me
George
versus Joe.
Joe for first pick.
Rock. All
So
right, Joe gets
first,
first pick.
George second.
You guys
Morgan
need to do
versus
it.
Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. All right.
Morgan's going last.
Not gonna lie, I kind of wanted to go last. So
Last is nice in a snake draft.
Yeah.
So the official order is Joe, George, Ollie, Morgan.
I got the worst one. Fuck.
All right. Time for pick number 1.
All right. Pick number 1.
This is a good look.
I wanted pick number 1.
Wait, 1 sec. Sorry. Just got it before you're allowed to pick.
Yeah. Pick is in.
Perfect.
Yeah, so I'm going to choose the Oslo Diamond League. I think that's been a big meet for our team. Like, we've always had a big crew going there for the last 2 years. Going to be probably 3 this year, just looking at the schedule of it. And it's always been like, yeah, just a great meet for our team. And get to go to the home of Jakob Ingebrigtsen. So
What more could you want?
what more could you want?
While he's
have to have a meet in Norway.
Yeah, while he's like ruling the sport in the way that he is, I think that's always going to be like one of the biggest meets, if not the biggest.
Yeah, that's the only time I see like fans, like a lot of people dressed up like Vikings, and like it feels like more of like a football atmosphere a bit.
A real fun sporting event.
Yeah.
What, before we get into this, I don't know if this is going to, I guess this is for 2024 specifically. What's the Diamond League final this year?
Brussels.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Good to know. Should have done my research, but yeah. Good first pick. All right. On to number 2.
This might be, I don't know how I feel about this, but I'm taking NCAA cross. I just want to bank a cross-country race now because my next 3 picks are probably going to be track, but I want one cross-country meet in there. So I'm going to snake it now before you guys do. That's my thinking, and it's so good. Freaking love watching NCAA cross.
You sure you don't want the sound running?
It's a tough.
Okay, it was a toss-up. It was a toss-up between those two, and I went with NCAA cross.
From like
Special meet for all of us.
Yeah. From a participation standpoint, I don't think I've like experienced something that's more. It just has so much meaning. It's just the whole season dedicated to it, and you do it with your teammate. The way that it works with the team just makes it so special compared to other meets.
Yeah, the nerves there, and like not like the start line
The atmosphere
strides.
is
The start line strides are just like something else.
Yeah,
there.
I do feel good about that pick, actually.
Yeah, that is a good pick. Oh yeah, we should say as well. I should have probably said this beforehand, before your first 2 picks. But I think maybe we'll have USA's as its own thing, and then all the rest of the national championships will be like its own thing as well. So you can just pick like national champs.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Good pick. On to the next.
I'm going to butcher I think I might butcher this. Hakone Ekiden. I want that because I feel like it's a unique meet, and also it's fucking amazing watching it and seeing it, and it's in Japan, so.
Do you want to explain what it is to those that don't know?
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, it's similar to the one that Brooks Hansen does, right?
I think it's based on the Brooks
the
Hansens.
Michigan Ikeden.
Yeah. It's based on the Michigan Ekiden, right?
Well,
The Michigan Ekiden was the first one.
97 years
Yeah,
ago.
no, wait, the Hakone one is basically a 2-day race, 5 people each day, run a half marathon.
I think
More or
so.
less.
Yeah,
it's like
more or
close.
less.
And you
It's
hand
around a
off
half marathon.
you hand off a sash.
Yeah.
Tokyo to Hakone in one day.
Yeah.
Next day, Hakone back to Tokyo.
Yeah.
And it's
University teams only.
university only, and it's
You have to qualify.
one of the biggest.
It's like-
it's the biggest sporting event in Japan, I think.
Yeah,
Next to baseball.
they're saying it gets more views than the Super Bowl,
That's
which is
crazy.
crazy. But I think the cool thing is there's Ekidens leading up to it to qualify for Hakone Ekiden, which is like December 31st.
There's like the whole Ikeden season all fall. Like when we're doing, I guess it kind of is still the road-ish season in the US. But for them, it's like the road season, but it's only relays every time.
For them,
then-
it's not just the road season; it's the season.
Yeah. Yeah,
we're,
for
we're,
them,
we're training with someone from Japan, and it was like everything on the track this summer was very secondary to Ekiden season,
Yeah.
which was just so hard to wrap our head around.
I mean, I'm capitalizing on that because you can make a lot of money off that meet, I reckon.
I agree with that. I think it's very unique in the list of like big meets that currently exist to have one, which is so like everything. Like Japan as a country, university running, everything. It's kind of similar to NCAA cross, I guess, in this way, but everything is going to that meet. Like that's all that matters. And I think that is why a big reason why it's so special. That's what you want to try and have as much as possible.
Change NCAA cross to an Ekiden.
Oh, that actually, honestly, an Ekiden
so sick.
in like NCAAs would be interesting.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like how to make that work. That'd be so cool.
Maybe like you'd scrap the indoor season, or you do indoor season or Ekiden.
Didn't they
Up to
used to
cross.
have an Ivy team would go over and race in
I think they
Ekiden?
still do.
Really?
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong, but
Very cool. Well, good pick, Holly. Good. That's a good first rounder. All right. With my first pick, my round 1 pick in the draft, I really don't want to do this because I 100% expected someone else to pick this.
You're going to pick the Olympics, aren't
Yeah,
you?
I have to. Well, my head is telling me yes, but my heart is telling me no.
Remember when you talked about the Chicken Boy League and how the Olympics was like bad
That's
for
the
the
thing.
sport in that way?
I think the Olympics is bad for this. But I mean, if I'm putting together in a normal setting, yes, I think like I would love for the Olympics to not be as big of a deal, et cetera, et cetera. But if I'm just trying to put together right now for 2024, like the best meets draft, I think I have to pick the Olympics for, obvious reasons.
Yeah, no,
Obvious
no, it makes
reasons.
sense. I mean, like, it's probably one of the most watched events, and also
think it is.
the Olympics, you're picking it as a track meet, not as like overall
No,
everything
just,
else that
just
comes
the
with
track
it.
from
Just
it.
the track from it, like,
Track
and that's
side.
like I think it's track and swimming are the most watched sports, right?
yeah.
They're up there.
I don't know. You tell people world championships in track, and they don't know what that means.
No,
which
but
basically is the Olympics.
If you win the Olympics at track, you're like
Yeah.
superstar.
Did you guys
Superstar.
see Noah Lyle's commercial they just aired?
I didn't get through the whole thing.
Wait, how long is
I
it?
just saw the hate about it. I didn't really actually see it.
I didn't watch it.
How long is it?
What's it advertising?
It might only be like 20 seconds. I think I made
It's
it.
like an ad about him winning the Olympics and like what he wears.
But he hasn't won it yet.
Yeah,
that's such bad
that's
karma.
what the controversy I think is.
Such bad.
Is
karma.
that correct, Joe?
I didn't actually watch the whole thing. I
Okay.
got to the point where he was on the starting line, and I just
Okay.
I probably should have watched it, but
All right. Well, Olympics. And moving on to the next pick. This one is going to go very interesting. Now that I'm thinking about it, reflecting on this pick more, it doesn't really make any sense in this day and age, 2024. But let's just pretend that we're in a time vortex for a little bit. And with my second pick, I'm going to take the Bauman time trials.
Oh, you bitch! I wanted that.
And
Do they exist anymore?
that's the thing. So just forget about. We'll just momentarily.
Forget about
I thought this
current
was-
events.
I
Forget
thought
about
this
current
was the
events.
2024
No, no,
season.
no.
though. Like,
No, we're bringing them back. We're bringing them back this year. It's they're gonna do the
put-
time trials instead of the Olympics.
Woody's back, Grant's back.
Yeah, we're making them happen again. Honestly,
What time of year were they even?
it was COVID. That's why they happened.
Oh, it was like February, March. Like
It was
it
well,
early?
Well, there was the BU ones. There was the outdoor
yeah,
ones.
there's so many different versions. In my head, I was thinking like the COVID ones, which
The-
were pretty special
the
in some
Portland
ways.
high school
The
ones.
Portland high
Yeah,
school ones.
But then
the one I
there's
think of.
there's always you're right. There's typically a 5K BU and then a 10K. Sound,
yeah, I
sound
think of the
running.
10. I think of the 10K. I guess.
Yeah.
What even are the other? What were the COVID
Well,
ones?
in COVID, Shell Burrito ran. Didn't she run the American record on the outdoor 5K? They ran some crazy.
Dang.
I think Mo maybe broke 13
Mm.
outdoor.
What about the 10K they did where like Kieran ran like his national 5K
That was
in the last
that
5K?
was in the
That was the 10K.
That was
That's
sound, I
10K,
think.
yeah.
Yeah, that was
that was
okay.
crazy
So-
as
so
well.
which
What's
wasn't
your
just-
reasoning? What's your defense?
Oh, also another one that I just want to throw in there is when Mo paced them for 4,600 at
Yeah.
the
Oh, yeah, that's pretty
Nike
sick.
Chicken, and then they
Was that in the woods?
the night in the woods or something.
That was like the rebirth of Woody.
Yeah, Matt Centrowitz ran 13 flat.
Yeah, Woody
Yeah.
broke 13, I believe.
Yeah.
1250.
Really sad because none of them qualified for Worlds because they didn't have the stand, and then they just went and did that. But my reason is just because just every single time they did one, it was, I think, very entertaining. And maybe it could be in a love way or a hate way. Often it's been talked about in a hate way, like how it's bad for the sport. But I'm as a meet director, I'm going with the line of any publicity is good publicity.
Love it or hate it, you were watching.
Exactly. And I just loved how they would just go take hold of a meet. I think there was maybe it was the big 10K when the weather was bad. They're like, no, we're doing it the next day.
Yeah.
They're
So-
literally like the Emperor from
I mean, that race
fucking
just
Star Wars
that 10K. I remember just like
taking over.
couldn't even wrap your head around it.
Yeah, those performances.
It was like, what just happened?
Yeah, it's just
It
like
was wild.
I think we have to give them credit where they really broke down some barriers with those
100%.
performances because like looking at especially like Grant's ones are easy for us because that's pretty much like our events. Both those like times that he like when he ran a really quick 5K indoors, where I think his last 3K was close to 7:30,
Yeah.
and then that 10K, you would have never predicted that he would run like that fast in that way. And
I
then
feel
it's
like
just
we all thought 27 minutes was like the barrier, like
Yeah.
because when Selinsky broke it, and it's like
yeah.
he had 300 meters on him.
Yeah, it's pretty mind-boggling to think about. So, unfortunately, do you remember that when they moved to Eugene, we thought they were going to continue at Eugene, and not one. There hasn't been one good time trial at Eugene.
we were kept saying like, oh, Eugene, like Hayward Field time trials are going to be like the thing.
Yeah, we thought that was going to be every weekend. We'd be in Eugene running time trials.
I would have supported their move to Eugene much more if that had happened.
I would have as well. I think that would have been more of like, okay, I see it now, but they haven't even fucking taken advantage of it.
No. So, that's my pick. All right. Onto Ollie.
No, on to me. Oh, no.
Snake order, yeah.
Damn.
Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, going first kind of sucks, dude.
Yeah.
Maury plant meat.
Close
Now
to
that's a biased pick, but I thought. I mean, I'm Australian, and I want like big meats in Australia. That meat was the biggest meat I've ever been to in Australia, and it was like incredible. And it's going to be incredible this year. We got like Jake Whiteman, Peter Ball, Stuart McSwain, like really good talent going to be there, and it's going to be hopefully a killer meet. And it's always great to see like a pack stand with a lot of young kids getting excited about athletics. So that's my pick. I'm going to make sure that meet survives and stays strong.
Survives and thrives.
Yeah.
That's a good pick. That's a very good pick. All right. On to George.
I take back what I said. My last 2 picks are going to be track picks. I'm going to do one more pick that's not on the track. And I'm going to take the London Marathon.
I was trying to think before if you were going to take a marathon, which one to pick, because that is hard.
And my reasoning, I want to just cover bases. I want to have the US covered. I want to have Europe covered. So I'm going Europe and road. And I just think Mark Cuban and Elon Musk will see the monetary value in the London Marathon.
That race has to make... I mean, any of those races do, but London...
I think London just seems like
money.
The most high roller.
It's funny you
like
say London. I don't think I've ever thought of like watched London.
No, it's
Or
definitely
like-
the one I watched the least, but
Yeah.
it's super fast and can attract really good fields because they have
Yeah.
heaps of money.
Wait, what? No.
And I want one in the UK.
When was did they break the world record at London recently at all? I mean, the current one's from Chicago, and then before that was it Berlin. I don't know.
One of the women's world record was in London.
Yeah, men's was probably like Valencia or something, right?
Not the world record.
No, men's was Berlin until Chicago.
Oh, Berlin, yeah.
But the women's before that go ran to 11, it was London, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
So
No, it's a good pick. It's a logical pick. It's a safe pick, I think. That's a cash cow, if there ever was one in this sport. All right, Joe, what you got?
I'm surprised this one's still on the board, but Milrose Games.
Very close to home as well.
Yeah, another one that's probably a bit like, I mean, I think that meet's grown a lot in the last few years. Like, it's always been a really big meet, but now it's like every event. It was always like the mile was the big thing. And now, like, top to bottom, you have like Christian Coleman running the 60, and you have a 2 mile that's going for the world record. So I think every event now there is really good. And then just the atmosphere there is crazy. Like, I've never, like, if you've ever been to the Armory, the stands are literally above the track. And so racing there is just like an atmosphere like you probably can't get anywhere else on a track.
I think that's a really good point. I think something that, maybe we haven't thought about yet is I do agree with you that the best atmospheres that you'll ever get in the sport are indoor meets.
100%.
It's just impossible to get that in a big outdoor stadium.
Yeah.
Well, very, very hard.
Very hard.
Very hard, yeah.
Like, you think most diamond leagues, even like Oslo, 20,000 packed stadium, like Milrose still feels so much louder because people in the stands are probably
so close.
like everyone is within 10 meters of you.
Yeah.
Like,
and it just gets so loud, and
Yeah.
everything seems so fast, I would say.
yeah,
on
because it's
those
just this
200
small little gym. Like, everyone's packed in there.
Yeah, lots of energy. It's racing those meets is crazy as well because you really feel that energy, and you feel. I think sometimes you get really nervous for indoor meets just because everything's so chaotic.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling.
Well, I feel like there's videos every year of like from indoor meets, someone like, like at the Armory when the person was holding the tape and they came out too late and got like ran into by the person winning the race. Like,
just a
I
shit
feel
show.
like you just always get these chaotic moments.
No, it's a good pick. Good pick. And also a pick where we'll be back there. We'll be back there pretty shortly.
Yeah.
So on the schedule. So that's a great second pick. Good first 2 rounds by everyone, I would say. Back to you, Joe.
Double pick.
Oh gosh, I was not ready for 2 picks. I'm gonna take this one because I've done 2 track races, and this is much off Morgan's talking it up. Is the World Road Running Champs?
Oh,
I was gonna pick
that's
that.
a good pick.
Yeah,
That's
that
a
is
very good
I
pick.
That is a
pick
good.
that.
I completely forgot about
Oh,
that.
that's a great pick.
Especially future
Yeah.
Future
Yeah.
years. Yeah, so I think this was the first year of it, right? In
Yeah.
Zagreb?
in
Latvia.
Riga, Latvia.
Riga, Latvia, yeah, sorry. And then it's the mile, 5K, half marathon.
Yeah, and it what's the word? It ate up the previous World Half Marathon Championships,
Yeah.
which has been on for a while.
Yeah, so the World Half Marathon Champs, I feel like no one ever really thought about those much. But now that it's like
Just Reds.
miler, yeah, just Reds. But now that you have milers, 5K, half marathon, one race, all in one place. And I think it was cool. They had like
day.
a citizens race.
Yeah,
So it just seemed like a really good event to like draw. Like if you want to go to an event, run a race, watch the pros run, it just seemed really good. And the locations are great. Like I think Denmark.
I think it's not this year, but then next year it's in Copenhagen, and
Copenhagen,
then
yeah.
from there they're trying to start doing it every single year. So then the next
San
year,
Diego.
San Diego,
Yeah. So
I think that meet has huge potential.
and they're doing all the right things because. One thing, I don't know if all the fans will have seen this, but they're trying to schedule it so that all the best athletes can do it. So in 2026, when the World Champs are late in the year in Tokyo, 1 week later is World Road Running Champs in San Diego.
Yeah.
So you don't have to extend your season super far. or
Yeah,
anything.
I think that's always been the thing with a lot of these like fun championship races or fun meets. It's just the timing. If it doesn't work out, they're not going to get good runners. But that's one thing they've done well, I think.
And now every year people will be chasing in the mile that
I was about
world
to say.
record.
Yes.
Also, resetting the world records. Also,
But it'd be so
was a-
fun to like
was a great pick.
run the 5K at World Champs and then a week later go run a road 5K. Like probably much lower stakes and just like more like it'd be a fun race.
Yeah, that like honestly,
enjoying the race for the race's sake.
Like,
yeah,
your
it's
race
just-
looks so fun.
It
Like,
is so
watching
fun.
that video you finishing, I was just like, this looks so cool.
It's just like pure racing, you know.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's just way more. It's just a way.
What splits
Bit of
did they have?
The
Did they have like a
splits-
3K split?
They had all the splits.
All the Ks.
I think so. The top guys, they ran like really quick at the end.
Did you get the Australian record for the road 5K?
No, because Craig
It's
Mottram
fast.
has it from Carlsbad. I think it's around 13:20, and I think I don't know if countries reset the world record because you know how
World Athletics.
World Athletics reset the world record, but I think national records didn't get reset,
Okay.
so it's still the like.
I think you were
deservedly-
5 or 6 seconds maybe off.
Yeah,
Were you
it was
24?
Within 10,
Or 26?
26.
I
Within
think
10 seconds.
Mottram was like either like 19 or 20.
Yeah. But I think, you could run really quick in those races as well. And I think they'll continue to get deeper and deeper. So
San
a-
Diego would be a sweet one.
Yeah, I think for the first year of the event, it looked amazing, and they're probably just going to build on that.
hopefully it just, keeps the momentum keeps growing. So, yeah. Great
Shit,
pick.
it's me.
Lots
Oh
of
no.
pressure.
Should I better take a track race? Can I take the Diamond League final? Is that
What is
or
it allowed that?
like? Is that a?
Is that allowed?
The problem
I-
is like the Diamond League final is a meet, but it's not a specific meet.
Yeah, but
Like-
neither World Road Running Champs
Yeah.
that changes locations every
That's
year.
true. That's true. But then you'd have to constitute that the
Olympics.
Diamond League
I mean,
exists.
are we saying for Brussels? Are we saying like this next year, or like just in?
I
I
think
guess
you should be allowed to pick just the Diamond League final.
I think you can choose it in general. 'Cause
Yeah.
it is very different from a normal diamond.
And
league.
also, it's
it's way bigger
but it's almost like a controversial pick in some ways, I
Mm.
would say.
Mhm.
because
It's not
it's part of
clear.
it's not part of a league. Like we're making a league, and it's not. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the contradiction. With
But
it,
also,
it does make sense.
sorry,
'cause
I'm
it's a
not
big
trying to
meet.
shit on your pick because you just picked it. But it's like, well, not always. There's a lot of amazing things that happens at the Diamond League final, but I would say I'm often a little bit like disappointed.
Mhm.
That makes
I
sense.
agree. I agree.
But you could
more
make
just
it better.
thinking that
That's his
it
pick.
covered bases in terms of
Every event.
I sometimes I'll get the Zurich Diamond League, I'll get the Brussels
No,
Diamond
it's a
League.
great pick still. It's a
I'll
great
get
You
pick.
get
Pre.
pre, yeah,
It's a really
like,
good pick.
I'll
and
get-
it could get other meets as well in the future.
Covers a few bases in terms of great Diamond Leagues. And if
But-
it's in Zurich, which I would probably just put it in Zurich every year,
Yeah.
and then I just get the Zurich Diamond League.
It's a great third pick. I think first
a good
round,
pick.
everyone's picked. There's no controversy. Now we're in the third round, and it's like we don't know how these are going to go.
Yeah, it's getting a little more challenging as it
Yeah.
should. No, that's a good pick. I mean, it's the Diamond League final.
I'm taking it.
It's a very good pick. Good stuff.
New York Marathon.
Yeah.
I think New York, I unfortunately didn't get to go this year, but from everything I've heard and from like all the stuff I've seen, like New York just is like already a nuts city, but it becomes even more nuts when the New York Marathon's on. So that's an easy pick for me, and I need to be in the US at some point. In my league, I have Japan, I have Australia. We're moving over to North America, and New York is a great place for a great marathon. And yeah, I mean, I don't think there's much else to say. New York Marathon's like legendary.
Speaks for itself.
Yeah.
It must be one of like the biggest. I don't even know how they.
It's probably that in Boston. What the biggest
metrics they use to rank like I don't know, participation or money made, but it might be like the
New York might be the biggest participant.
I think they had the highest number of entries. It was like 55,000 or something.
I feel like it's bigger than Boston for sure.
Boston's got prestige though.
Oh yeah,
Boston's
they all have prestige.
Oh yeah, but I think Boston. But like for I don't know, talking to like I think I maybe asked you this question, Joe. But talking to a lot of Americans, like, would you rather in Boston or New York? I think a lot of people, Americans, would say Boston because I think Boston's like a like legendary as well in its own right.
Obviously, I think that's fair.
Yeah,
I would say New York or Boston.
Yeah,
Chicago's
also massive.
Yeah, they're all good, but different.
We can't dish Chicago because that's Ritz's best marathon. We have to.
Also, it's where people run world records now.
That is true. It's a very fast course.
That does a lot for it, I would say. Great pick. Oh boy, now I got two. This is pressure. I think for my next pick, I'm gonna have to pick the USA Olympic trials.
That's my pick.
Sorry. And that's very biased, I would say, being based in the US. I think if I wasn't based in the US, I would probably not care about it as much, but maybe I would still, because it is like the fact that the US is the one country that so successfully is able to have a trials where it's generally very clear cut, top 3, you go into the Olympics, I think makes it really exciting, because that's just, in our sport, that's just some of the highest stakes that you can get. And every 4 years, there's a lot of upsets, there's a lot of surprises, there's so much drama that goes with the Olympic trials. And we were all there last time, and being there, Joe, I don't envy you. Being there as a fan, it's like one of the most emotionally draining experiences. Yeah. It's just like, it's crazy.
No, it's,
fucked me up, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, it was nice having you guys there. I mean, that was my first Olympic trials, and it was like, at least I raced the first day, and I was so happy.
So that's good.
I was like, if I had to sit through 10 days of this,
Alicia, man,
I'd be cooked.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't come back for the 5K because like I don't think I got home after the race until like 3 a.m.
Yeah,
no, it's crazy. But also, I think the one good thing about the U.S. Olympic trials is I feel like every world champs, every Olympics, there's controversy in some country about someone who gets selected who shouldn't be.
Yeah,
or maybe not shouldn't be, but like.
It's always up in the air.
It's always
like
up in the air
because there's always like amazing athletes, and they never like duke it out, right? Whereas like the US, they duke it out. Top 3, you go through, unless you like, there's a standard thing, but most of them, top 3, you probably have the standard, you're in.
I know, it just got quite complicated for the marathon in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
I'm I don't understand.
That's a lot of gray area.
I don't understand what's going on with the marathon. I'm talking track.
Yeah, we don't even know how to get into that.
Yeah,
we'll leave that to the experts.
Yeah, I let Chris Chavez break down that whole process.
Yeah, it's too much for me. So that is my pick, my third pick right there. And with that, we're on to the final round. And wow, it's crazy how many meets there are still on the table. I'm really going. It's really sad that I haven't picked a cross country race, and I really like cross country. But like, I guess aside from NCAA's, you know what? I'm really inclined to pick World Cross now. I was either gonna pick World Cross or Prefontaine.
I'm just gonna say World Cross. It was in Australia. World Cross is a good meet.
You know, I'm going to go World Cross. I think if you're making a league in the way that we're talking about it, including World Cross, it's
a good meet. Like,
you just need to make people run
I have one gripe with World Cross.
What is it?
That the Europeans never send teams.
Yeah,
that is true, because they're so obsessed with European cross, right?
Exactly.
Just the timing.
And they don't send it unless they think they can podium. Like a lot of countries, it's like, if our team, if we don't think they can podium, we're not sending a team.
I think that's a sad thing, because at one point World Cross was every year, and I assume it was a bigger deal when it was every year, and they had 2 races. They had a short course and a long course.
Yeah,
I assume back then it was bigger, but unfortunately, recently it hasn't been quite the same.
I think COVID and just mushing all these championships together.
Putting it in Australia was like simultaneously so cool, but also not cool. I think for a lot of those, like for the reasons we're talking about, I think it was really hard for countries to send teams. And then this year there is World Cross, but no one even.
It's in Croatia, isn't it?
Well.
It was.
No.
Wait, where is it now?
It's in
Back to Serbia.
Serbia. So it's like really sad because they were meant to be hosting, and then I don't know if they weren't like prepared properly or something. So this is a case of buy low, sell high. I'm buying like a seemingly dying meat, and I'm hoping that we can do some work on it and make it what it should be.
Yeah, bring it back to what Ritz said it used to be.
Yeah, when Ritz was running really well. It's
back when he came fourth as in the juniors.
He got third. And in front of him was Kipchoge. And
that photo of him like running next to like Kipchoge and like Gebre Selassie.
Yeah, it's the craziest shit.
That was unreal.
Back in my day.
So
Let's do that now.
My final pick. In
the great Edinburgh would also.
Yeah,
I mean, that's not even a dying meat. That's a
dead meat.
That's
right?
a dead meat, I think. But that was pretty sweet.
And it is.
Speaking of cross country,
this is my last pick, and there's two meets that I'm really tossing up on. One of them is the Monaco Diamond League. The other one, European Championships track.
Europeans was amazing last time.
It was.
So like for me, I'm gonna go with Europeans, purely because from what I mean, we have teammates that compete at Europeans, but the one that was in Munich, like it was insane. Like just from the filming, like from Jordan, from like mates from On, and just in the crowd, incredible. And I cover like all of Europe, so I've got all the Europeans running European champs. It's such a big deal. Mario, like it's like literally, it's almost up there with Gladiator for Mario. It's one of the greatest things he can possibly be a part of. So I'm getting European champs.
Well, one thing that's like really good for right now in particular, like from our perspective, is that the European men's 1500
is insane.
Field is just like, there's just like they're just the best in the world.
Yeah.
And then also, I don't know if they're continuing to do this going forwards because it's hosted by Rome this year, but when they held it in Munich, in Munich,
that would be sick.
Monaco would be sick. Yeah, they could host that event. It coincided with other sports. It wasn't just a track European Championships. It was also like biking and rowing.
It was in the Olympic facility as well. So like all that stuff was happening on at the same time. So people could just go in and out.
So it was like
sports.
an Olympics. Or
it
like
was pretty amazing.
So that was pretty cool. But that's a great pick right there. I really like that.
Gosh, I keep forgetting mine. It's not that way.
It's tough.
You'll see what.
George, final pick.
All right, this took a long time to decide on. I think this might be a little bit of an underdog pick, but I'm taking the Sir Walter Myler.
Wow.
I wanted more picks like that. You know what I mean? Like close to home, like more.
Because I picked two big ones.
Pearl Street Mile.
Yeah. Something like that. Okay. I want to meet top reason is I want to meet where where the fans are allowed on the track. I think that makes I think that makes like a huge difference to a meet, and I think like that could be like so also you could like grow that up, and it's like quite a. I mean, I also have a soft spot for it because I went early in my OAC days and won it and had a lot of fun there. I just think there's good potential for a mile, like a Fifth Ave or something where there's only one event. I think is like NCAA Cross, like one race on each side. I think there's like good potential for that because it's not like the excitement isn't spread out over hours and there's no waiting around. Like there's just one race, one big race on each side, and the fans are like basically in the lanes with you.
Yeah,
and
I think it's a good pick.
That's my pick.
Everyone I've heard who's been there has loved it.
Yeah, if you can make it so it's a great athlete experience and a great fan experience.
What more do you want?
Sky's the limit, I think. Yeah. Sky's the limit. Good final pick. I like that we had one that was more exciting, I guess, like more
salt to the ground.
Slightly just different from like the fucking Olympics. Like. Hi, Joe, what you got?
All right, so this is the Mr. Irrelevant pick. But this is a case of maybe not buying low, selling high, but a meet that I think has a ton of potential is Penn Relays. Like you look back at when it used to be USA versus the world in all the sprint relays, and you get like Usain Bolt and just these amazing sprint stars come, and it was such a big meet. And I think it still is like for high schoolers. I think on the pro side, like On is really trying to bring it back, and I think like we tried with like the 4x-mile and doing some fun things like that, but I don't think that really hit the 4x-mile. But I think that trying those things at Penn Relays. I think there's a potential to bring it back. And I heard they're bringing back the USA versus the World relays, which were so cool when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm. Also collegiately, it's like one of the
collegiately, it's amazing. Yeah,
well.
exactly. You have college, high school, everyone right there, and like that stadium is just old, historic, like super fun, right in Philadelphia.
Yeah, and it packs out. Like, what is it?
It's
70,000 people.
something?
Yeah, it's crazy. And so I wouldn't say I'm buying low, but I think it has a big upside.
Yeah. It can be bigger than what it actually is now, which is already massive.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about it is in our sport, we don't get many opportunities to run as a team like in a relay. So
yeah, and it's another one where the timing is
awesome.
everything. Because if you could
time it in the right time of year, you could really
like we always talk about putting together like dream DMR teams, but it's like that'd be so cool if you had like USA versus the world, USA DMR, like a UK, Australia, whatever.
You'd have a lot of good DMRs, honestly.
Yeah.
Thinking about even the Europeans, like
they try. Does World Road? No, not World Road. Does World Relay still exist?
Oh man,
isn't that? It's always in like the Bahamas or somewhere.
Every once in a blue moon, I hear about
Happens
that.
For like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I feel like you always hear about that every like 5 years. World Relays, and you're like, what? Where did that come from?
It's sad because I'm just trying to think. Like, it would be amazing if there was a way for them to work out a system. Maybe this is what we're doing here with the Chicken Boy Morgs League. A system where it actually mattered to the athletes a lot that were to have like a team or a relay type event, because it's just so hard to make it matter. It's like even if you just keep putting money on it. I mean, if you put enough money, I guess it matters.
You get people. Yeah,
but like even then, it's like
it's unsustainable just to be like, all right, we got some sponsor to put up so much money for this race. You got to make it something that the athletes want to do.
You got to try to find meaning somewhere.
Yeah,
so that everyone wants to do this.
And that gets harder with the whole system that World Athletics has in place.
Yeah, it doesn't help at all. Yeah. It doesn't help at all. Well, great job, guys. How are we all feeling with our teams?
I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, I'm happy too.
Should we go through them all quickly again, just to remind everyone? All right. Joe, you have the Oslo Diamond League, Milrose Games, World Road Running Champs, and Penn Relays. George's team is NCAA Cross, London Marathon, Diamond League Final, and the Sir Walter Mile. Ollie's team is the Hakone Ekiden, the Maori Plant Meet, the New York Marathon, and European Championships. And then my team is the Olympics, the Bauman Time Trials.
How did they get in there?
USA Olympic Trials and World Cross Country.
You have 2 Olympic kind of centered events.
Yeah, I guess it only really works in an Olympic year. My one, it's not very sustainable.
A lot of meats left on the table.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Meats left on the table, which is weird to think about.
I guess that's just how many meats there are, though.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, our fans can put up, if you guys want to like make your own draft and post it on our social, let us know. Like post it on YouTube.
I think
comments.
somehow we'll make this into a graphic and put it out to the Instagram to vote on it. But also in the comments, just if you're watching the YouTube version, just let us know what you think about these different picks, because I really don't. There's so many different ways you could go about like rating these different.
Yeah, I could
teams.
see every team being like you could vote for every team for one reason or another.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's time for us to call in our special guest. We're doing a little thing today where this man is known for his interviews, but we're turning
the tables.
We're flipping it on him. Also, he's our enemy, so we'll see how this goes. But he just had a very, very big achievement in the last couple of days, which hopefully we get to talk about the news. So it was at Houston Marathon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kiki Chavez.
Hey,
welcome to the podcast. Here, I'm just gonna set you up, but you're live right now, so don't say anything like crazy or anything.
How's my audio and everything?
Fantastic. We can hear you.
Oh, Joe's the guest. Nice.
What a surprise.
Joe's the host. You're the guest.
Yeah. Can you see us? Is this good for you?
Yeah, I can see you guys.
You're sparkling right now.
I went with the nice camera for you guys, of course.
Oh, glowing.
I thought it was that sub 3 hour glow. Just take us. I mean, that was only one day ago, right? Just take us through the race and just hear how you're feeling with everything. That's got to be like that's a lifetime accomplishment.
You're turning the tables on me like this is a post race interview. It's like I've done it enough times for you guys in the mix, and you finally get to get me back. But no, it was good. I mean, it's a big weight off my shoulders. Everyone kind of has known that like I've been going after sub 3 in the marathon, sub 5 in the mile, still out there. I haven't given it a shot in a bit, but no, it was good. I mean, you guys saw me in New York. I blew up and it was not pretty. This was different because it's like, and I kind of went into this one a little bit secretly people could maybe tell that I was training for something on Strava, but I didn't really tell too many people. It was like, I'm going to run the Houston Marathon because I was like, let's try something different. Let's make it super low key, not make it like this whole big thing. And so it paid off. I mean, I'm also much better at like flat races. Houston's like super flat. So I just got to roll for the whole time. I found some people to run with, and yeah, I mean, I was cutting it close. I had a nice little buffer through halfway, and then at the very end, I just started doing math in my head. I'm like, oh, I've got, all right, if I start to die and I can run some 720s, like I'll be okay. And then I was like, but no, we can't tap into the reserves too soon. And so if people were tracking on like the Houston Marathon app, which I had like friends, they were like, oh, he's good. But then there was like a late split where like, oh no, this might be close. And so people were sweating it out, but I got it done with like 40 seconds to spare. So mission accomplished.
Huge congrats. Chris, what's your what's your journey of the 3 hour marathon? Like when did that become so important? And honestly, like watching your last 100 meters reminded me of the videos you guys posted of people getting the trial standard at CIM,
yeah.
which and it's like quite emotional to watch, like realizing how much it means to those people. Like why does that mean so much, and like why is that so important? It's amazing.
I was jacked up. Yeah, because like I guess for me, like I started running. My first marathon was actually like in 2013. I was still in college. I was like just getting into like the whole running thing. Like my goal at that one was just to break 4 hours, and I didn't do it. I ran like 4:17. It was like Chicago. And so then from there was like, okay, I did Chicago. I still want to do like the hometown one. So for me, that's New York. And then like I did that one. It went so poorly because I got hurt on like the Queensboro Bridge. I have like a love-hate relationship with the New York City Marathon. So I wanted to try it again. And at that point, like I'm just like, all right, I'm too down with like the U.S. majors. I got to do Boston. I had a friend, who was working for Adidas at the time, got me a bib. So I did that one. And then your mind's like, I'm halfway through the majors. Might as well do the international ones. And so then I was hooked on that. I went to, I guess like it really starts, at that point I was still running like 4 hours or just broke 4. And then it was in 2017, like I finally got into like the New York City running community, which is like, there's so many clubs and like groups out here that like once you just like I hadn't trained with a team at all since like high school. So it was cool to get back into like going to a practice on like Tuesdays and being on the track, and same thing on tempo runs on Thursdays or long runs that like very quickly, like I made this big jump from like 3:36 to 3:16 and then 3:06 like a couple months later. And so then that's when it sort of started to creep in my head. I was like, okay, I could probably run sub 3 eventually. And like it was just chipping off blocks of time. At like when you're a hobby jogger, it's so much easier to just take 10 minutes off a PR. But if you're like an elite, that's a lot of time unless you're like Tigges Assefa or someone like that. But for me, it was just like, I don't know, it was just like over time, just putting in the training. But then like the pandemic hits and I'm stuck at 3:06. In the pandemic, I'm like, I'm not going to keep training if there's no races. So like literally, I think like 2020, 2021, 2022 even, like I was still getting back into my own running, like nowhere near like my old PRs. And I rejoined another team. I'm training with like Central Park Track Club here in New York, and that's been like paying off because like I run with all these fast girls. I'm not good enough to run with the guys on the team. So like, yeah, like, I got back into it. Basically also when I started going all in on Citrus Mag, it's like, it makes you kind of give up a lot of your own time too, where it's like, all right, now I got to run a business. So I think Kyle wrote about this like in his newsletter like a couple weeks ago when he was like looking at his 2023 like stats and how much less mileage he had in 2023. He's like, it's ironic that when you cover the sport, you end up running less, and it's true. But like, I'm lucky in the sense that like I'm my own boss, so like I can go out for like 2 hours or 3 hours on a Friday to do a long run, and then like just get the training in. So the last 9 weeks were just like an extension of New York, and I was feeling good and wanted to give it another shot. And so, I decided it was like Houston will be the last one. Cause this, again, like when you're covering the sport, you just lose time to train. So with Olympic trials, Olympics, I'm getting married in September. So it's like all these things happening. I'm not going to be able to run a fall marathon. So I was like, I don't want to start at 0 again. Let's do Houston.
Wow. That's a great answer. That's such a good journey. So good to hear. So now are you like kind of the vibe like, fuck, I'm not racing another marathon for like quite a while? Are you still into the idea of them? Or are you making that switch up to the track? Like, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, like for me, I don't get emotionally as moved for like, it was sub 3 and I would have been happy. That could have been 2:58. It could have been 2:59, 59, like at the very last second. I would have been so happy. A 2:50 doesn't really move me the same way. So like, I'm okay with putting the marathon on hold for a bit. I'm ready to get back on the track. I want it like, I'm going to take the next 10 days off or so, let my body recover, and then it's immediately back to like track practice. I'm going to start doing some 400s and 800s, whatever it might be, to just get some speed back, and then hopefully give the mile another crack and just keep going at it. Like it's easy to jump into some of these mile races at the Armory, or maybe I need to get into a race at BU or something like that and make it happen. But no, I mean, it's a step forward in the right direction. So like I'm excited, but like I'm good with the marathon for now. Probably won't revisit it until like, I don't know, late 2025 or something like that.
Well, Chris, you could always join my group. I'm going to be coaching Donovan Brazier very soon, so you can join that group with him, and we can get on the track and get to work.
I heard about that. Big get by you.
I'm
looking forward to that.
I haven't heard anything from him yet, but we're going to be setting up training, and the team, it's called the Whore in Us.
The Whore in Us.
So we're going to be crushing the track season. We don't have a sponsor yet, but we're going to be looking for, maybe Gus can give you some money. Coffee Club could sponsor it. But no, definitely that's an exciting journey that you're going to have, and it's good to hear that you're back on the track and you're going to be
the track's going to feel so nice after the marathon.
It's going to be amazing.
You can if you wanted to, you could race a mile every week, and you could get after it, whereas the marathon is just so much more stressful, so much more that goes into it. One question, this is going to be a slightly longer question, but you're kind of the expert, so we have to ask you this. On the show today, we did a draft where we each picked 4 meets, and is like the best meets of the year draft. So we each have a team of 4 meets, and if I just read them out to you, can you just like, you don't have to just tell us who wins, I guess, based on your opinions. Does that sound okay?
Okay, yeah.
Unbiased.
Unbiased.
You can't tell us.
Yeah, you just have to say draft 1.
Draft 1, draft 2, draft 3, draft 4.
Very smart. Okay. Drafter 1 selected Oslo, Millrose Games, World Road Running Champs, Penn Relays. Drafter 2 picked the NCAA Cross Champs, London Marathon, Diamond League Final, and the Sir Walter Mile. Drafter 3 picked the Hakone Ekiden, the Maori Plant Meet, New York Marathon, and European Champs. And Drafter 4 picked the Olympics, the Bauman Time Trials, the USA Olympic Trials, and World Cross.
Oh, man. These are all good. I mean, Drafter 2 has some sneaky picks. Repeat Drafter 2 again?
NCAA Cross, London Marathon, Diamond League Final, and the Sir Walter Mile.
So if you pick Diamond League Final, he just gets, like, it could be in Eugene one year, and then it could be, okay.
Yeah, we debated this. We debated
it because it's same with, like, the Olympics.
But you were still allowed to pick, like, the Prefontaine Classic, as one of your picks. But, yeah, this one, it's just wherever the Diamond League Final is.
Yeah. All right. So I'm leaning towards 2 or 1. 1 has Millrose Games, and there was one other big one on there. Millrose Games went into the second round?
It did.
Good observation.
Yeah.
That's a surprise.
Drafter 1 was Oslo, Millrose, World Road Running Champs, and Penn Relays.
Oh, man. See, I don't know about, like, I'm excited for Road Running Champs, but there's only been one so far, and it was okay.
We're pretty hyped up on World Road Running
San
Champs. Not like we're biased or anything, but not like we compete. I'm
going Drafter 2. on this one. I think the Bowerman Time Trials was a very sneaky pick that I liked.
Well, congratulations to George
Appreciate that.
Dinish. You've picked his team.
This is the first dub. We'll see what the fans think after this, but I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, you guys have to do the thing where you post a graphic, but don't say who it is, and then say like who won the draft. No, it's perfect.
They're gonna know.
I think the winning thing for Drafter 2 was Sir Walter. I think like unless you've been there, which I've gone like 3 times, it's the Tour de France on a track basically with the fans right
what
up
a
on
compliment.
you.
Yeah.
I said that was an underdog pick.
Wow.
Morgan, have you run there before?
Never.
So us 3 haven't run there.
No, just George.
Yeah.
Well,
Fifth Ave didn't get picked.
Well, New York Marathon got picked.
but not Fifth
You don't
Ave.
get
no.
Fifth Ave.
Fifth Ave would have been.
I thought about Sir Walter or Fifth Ave, but I had already picked. I'd only picked one track meet, so.
Fifth Ave's tough because it's just such a short event.
Yeah.
It's like by 11 o'clock you're back in your hotel room. Like
Yeah.
day's over.
Season's over.
Season's over.
Should we start drinking now, or should I wait?
Before the race.
Or should I wait a couple of hours?
Drink before the race or after the race?
It would have been a good. Whoever picked it, it would have been a good.
It
Like,
would.
Yeah, it would have been a good pick.
Sleeper
I mean, there's
pick
so
as
many
well.
good picks that weren't like on that.
yeah.
Like Monaco
Yeah.
Diamond League's amazing. Like that's one of the biggest.
I think
Diamond
it's sort of like you also had to. It's interesting you guys just picked the meets because like you would have had to factor in other things like the Diamond League final, post race party, the Fifth Avenue Mile post race party. Like those kinds of things
factors.
also like add to the meets. But if you're just going by the meets, then I think still Drafter 2 wins. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for that. Before we let you leave, we just wanted to ask: have you heard about the rumors of Citrus Mag being acquired by a company run by a dog in the near future?
Yeah.
Are you privy to
No, I
those?
heard about this. Yeah, I keep getting a number, like calls from a number I don't recognize. I don't pick up phone calls from people's numbers who I don't recognize, and I'm very sure it's this dog that's trying to call me to buy
and
the
offer you a
company.
lot of money.
Yeah, no,
Well-
I heard. But to Kyle's point, 100% sure that the FTC would, just put a stomp on any sort of merger between us because I don't think the running world can handle, both worlds coming together.
definitely
So
not.
true.
And we're going to be acquiring you anyway in the near future. So
We're going to
Yeah.
acquire is it the FDC? Is that what their name is?
Yeah,
We're going
right.
to acquire them first, and then we're acquiring you guys after. So that's the plan. Not my plan. Gus's plan.
that's Gus's plan. That's not. No, we're not involved. Gus
That's
is.
Gus's plan.
That's Gus's plan.
But yeah, Chris, thank you so much for hopping on, and congratulations again on achieving
Congrats.
such a big goal. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us before you leave?
No, I'm just I've been seeing some of these entries for the Millrose games, and it's exciting to see that a bunch of you guys will be coming out to
Who's
New York
running?
in a couple weeks. So I'm sure I'll see you there.
Yeah, wait, send those two to us.
Yeah, so we haven't seen them.
No, we'll see you soon. I'm very sure.
All right, take care, guys. See ya.
Thank you, Chavez.
Thank you.
Sweet.
That was fun. Congrats, George. I'm not
Yeah.
going to say that means that you won, but that's a pretty
But
pretty
it's a
good
good start.
that's
He
a
was
good
very
endorsement.
sold on
But
the Sir
he was
Walter
sold
mile.
on Sir Walter, and
Yeah.
like it's only if you've been there. I haven't
Yeah.
been there. Like to me, Sir Walter's no different than
Also
any other.
skipped over the Olympics.
He also skipped over the Olympics
That says a lot. That
And the-
says a
and the
lot
US
about the sport, though.
and the US Olympic trials.
I'm
He skipped over
surprised
those
he skipped
two
over the
meets.
Olympic trials. For him, that's like
The biggest meet of the year.
they crushed that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he probably hates that week. He probably sleeps like an hour a night for 10 days.
Probably less than that. Do you remember last Olympic
Hated
trials
it.
was insane?
Yeah, it was
He
not.
probably hates that week.
Hated all of it. So we're getting close to rounding this out here. There was a bunch of news which were just. I mean, I don't really want to go through news. I do just want to shout out Pat Tannen for.
Yes.
I mean, the Houston Marathon just really in the half marathon came through. Amazing meet. Shout out to Zuhair as well.
206, crazy.
206 winning it.
Amazing.
And then Pat Tannen getting the Olympic qualifier 207, second fastest Australian all time. From I think all of our perspective, he's someone who we've looked up to for quite a while in our running career, and he's one of those guys who, I mean, he's just been sticking it out and like grinding away, and he's had a bit of up and down. So it's like to see someone like that coming on top, I think is very inspiring and just makes us happy.
100%. I remember my first national cross. I was 237th, and I got a photo with Pat Tannen and you, and it was like I was like a
Why'd
giddy
you get a
schoolgirl.
Wait, why'd you get a photo of me? I was on your team.
Well, you were someone that I looked up to as well. So I had you in the photo, I had Pat Tannen in the photo, like two Aussies that
Yeah, I
were
do
like
know that photo that
legendary
you're talking about.
in the cross country scene, particularly Pat, and like seeing
that
like
the
you
year
said
he-
up and downs, but
Is that the
seeing
year he
now-
won?
Huh?
The year he won?
No, the year he won.
Yeah, it was the year he won.
The year he won, he started. It was me, and then him. I was a freshman, and he shook my hand before the race.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I was like,
he's an amazing
I'm
bloke.
like, hell yeah.
And he just got married, I think, as well.
He's been married for a little bit. I
Oh,
think.
has he been married? Oh, yeah, he must have been. I know he was delayed with COVID and stuff, and there's always like, you know, life gets in the way. But it's really exciting to see him just crush it because
he's someone who really is
inspiration.
So is that a guaranteed spot on the Australian Olympic team? That's
No one's gonna run
from a U.S. perspective. I don't know.
It
what
would
this
be
means.
because he's the second fastest.
Yeah.
Someone would have to get bumped down to like fourth fastest
Okay.
for it not to be guaranteed.
At the moment, I think him,
big.
Liam Adams, and
I think Brett has the
Brett
fastest.
Brett has the fastest.
yeah,
time.
Brett, Liam Adams, and Pat Teenan, I think are the three.
I'm not sure where Rayner sits. Yeah,
Oh, Rayner too. I forgot about Rayner.
I'm not sure about that third spot.
That's a good question because Rayner has run really quick as well. Well, the Australian team's gonna be hard to make for the marathon. Yeah.
It will.
Mhm.
Man, oh man. What about New Zealand?
What about it?
Is Sam Tanner making the jump up? I reckon he could run a great marathon. That guy is an absolute maniac.
No, our boy Cam.
Oh yeah, Cam Avery.
is
He went around in Shanghai.
yeah, and he was 13th, and you have to be 12th to get points, I think,
Oh,
Dang.
which was a real bummer. But
12th
he's gonna,
in a big marathon like that is crazy.
yeah. So I think he's gonna have another spring go to try and get the ranking, basically,
awesome.
because you need 2 marathons.
Yeah.
I don't know that much else about it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of it on the. I mean, Helen came second, which good job to her. I think I mean, I don't know who won. Did you guys know who that was that won, the lady? But Helen, I mean, for her, it's just another
they
really
went out-
solid race.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, I guess Helen went out with that woman, and they were on like 64-minute pace, and then
It's
Helen
very
like
quick.
died and was running 5:20s, and then like everyone behind her, like it looked like she barely finished ahead of like a big group of women at like 66.
Well, Wayne
minutes.
set the American record.
Yeah,
so we
Wayne,
should
right
mention that as
ahead
well.
of right ahead of Wayne, but
Well done
like
to her.
they raced it totally different.
Yeah. And the other final piece of news for the week was the women's road 10K world record just getting obliterated in, was it Valencia?
Mm-hmm.
By, I don't know how to say the name.
And the road 5K world record.
Agnes Negetic.
She set the road 5K world record en route.
En route. You don't see that too often. There's been a lot of
Valencia is some kind of like cheat code. That place must be so fast.
Must be just so downhill.
You should remeasure it.
super downhill.
It's the BU track of road running. It's the BU track of road running. It honestly is.
These crazy performances. But I mean, there was a lot of people online were saying like, how is this possible? And it's a good question, but I don't know. I'm not going to say anything.
I mean,
I
I think Faith could probably break that.
Yeah.
People like if she really wanted to go out and
When did
she ran 14 hours.
yeah.
still.
Yeah, but they're like.
But when you heard, like, I think Alicia said she was racing that lady a bunch last season.
She finished one spot behind Alicia at Worlds, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
So Alicia.
So what
in
could Alicia
turn-
do? That's
Yeah,
the real
she could run
question.
something crazy then.
Oh, so good. Do you guys want to finish up with one quick coffee cauldron?
Yeah, why not?
Some-
We're here.
some advice
We're here.
on-
We're ready for it.
This is coming in from, and thank you again to everyone who submits these. We're going to continue to work through them. This is coming in from Mo P, who also, he has a picture with George on our sheet. I don't know if you can see that, George.
It fit there by the looks of it because I look soaked.
And I believe he gave us last time. I think he has already done a coffee cauldron
I
before.
wonder if that guy has my glass trophy. You know how you get a glass trophy for that?
Yeah.
Gone. Don't know.
It's so heavy though.
Don't know what happened to that.
He probably has it. All right, time for do you guys remember this music?
Yeah.
Let's see what we got.
Sounds like kind of Game of Thronesy this
Dear
week.
Gus and Coffee Club, Mo P back here again. Thank you for answering my question about diet. I'm actually vegetarian, so I don't really eat fast food, but listening to your advice helped me realize that I'm actually pretty healthy. But I've been cutting down on the Oreos and chips, and I think it'll pay off soon. I've been feeling a lot better. My next question is very unrelated to running. I've been talking to a girl for maybe 3 weeks now, and we're supposed to go out soon. And I'm just wondering, like, on your first date, how are you supposed to act? You know, like, I feel like that first meeting is going to be really awkward. I'm just thinking, like, how do I do it? You know, we're going to go out for coffee, so, you know, I think that's already a great start. But, you know, I'm just wondering, like, how do I act? And I'm really afraid that if things get awkward, I'm just going to start yapping about threshold workouts. And I'm just wondering, like, when is the right time to do that? And should I do that at all? Again, thank you. I love your stuff. And I actually met George at the Fifth Avenue Mile, if he remembers, and there's a picture attached. Thank you. Have a nice podcast.
Dude, the Coffee Cauldron's just turning into a relationship.
I think we're becoming a dating podcast.
We've literally become a dating podcast. Every question has been close to a relationship or friendship dating one.
First off, I do want to say, very happy that we helped you with your diet, and that the way it's funny that the way we talked about eating, he's like, "Oh no, I'm
vegetarian.
I'm fine." These guys have way worse diets than me.
These guys are way worse than me. Maybe realize.
First dates
are tough, and he says he's been talking to her for a few weeks. So they've got stuff that they know they can talk about, like cue cards, as you say.
I wonder if she's running related.
That's also something you probably should have mentioned, because maybe if he talks about threshold, she'd be fine with it.
Yeah, like maybe talking about Mike Smith is the right thing. Maybe it's completely.
If you bring up Mike Smith on a date, you're probably going to do well. Let's just say
as long as you show a photo of him.
Yeah.
As long as you show a clip of his voice.
Yeah. Saying Olin. Yeah. Honestly, coffee, good first date spot too. I feel like first dates are always
could be a bit awkward though.
Yeah, no,
you're just sitting there drinking,
you're in public.
Like, how long does it take you to drink a cappuccino?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe he orders a croissant or a pino chocolat.
Don't you guys feel like if I feel like in a cafe setting, if it's already a bit nervous, I get really nervous eating pastries.
Because it goes everywhere?
Yeah. like if it's already a situation where it's like a little bit nervy, I feel like pastries are really hard to eat for some
reason. If you're
reason.
in a good croissant, you got to be outside. Those crumbs.
Yeah, it's just like you get so embarrassed. You're like, oh,
that's how you know if it's a good croissant.
Yeah.
But I think my advice is, I mean, first off, seems like you have a great head on your shoulders. So I would not worry at all. And I think a first date is a first date. Nothing more, nothing less. You can't really put any more expectation or worry on it. You're always going to feel nervous. That's a good thing. It's because it's
out of your control. It's out of your control.
And you care. And you can never really do anything to like, you never should really try to do anything except for be yourself. The most cliched advice out there. And it'll be probably, even when we do the podcast, sometimes it's like this. The first 5 minutes, it's like you're getting into the groove. And then I'm sure, like, if you start yapping about threshold, that could be a good sign. Like, once things start feeling really nice and relaxed and you just start talking away, like, things will just be good and it'll flow. Or it won't, but...
I mean, you can't control where she comes in on it, but if she's yapping a lot, she's having a good chat, then it's going well, and then you can just maybe key off her as well. Because I'm sure if you're going to be nervous, she's going to be nervous. Like, it's just like in racing. Like, you look across and Grant Fisher, he's very good looking and he's still single, I think. But he's hurting. He's hurting. I'm hurting. Maybe not as much as me, but it's gonna be nervous time. But you guys will get through it.
Yeah, my advice would be to, I think, save talk of LT1 and LT2 to probably later in the day, and only
start with zone 2 talk.
And only if it's clear that she is interested in very specific running related training.
Oh, show her this clip. Show her this clip of just us explaining it. It's like, this is what I was given the advice.
Can you explain to me what's going on with Zone 2? I feel like I never heard anyone talk about Zone 2 until like the last like few months on social media.
Grand blanks.
I think it's always been a thing, but I think the reason I joke about it is Morgan Pearson.
Yeah, that's where I see it.
Like, posted like, it was some biking thing, so I have no context of it. But he posted like Zone 2 ride.
But he also does it for his running posts.
He's running, yeah. But he posted the biking one. Everyone was like tearing him to shreds, saying like, "There's no way this is Zone 2." And I don't know what it was. Maybe he posted like the equivalent of like
crazy high watts.
Yeah, maybe it might have been like running like a 5-minute mile or something, which isn't Zone 2 for running. And so now we just joke about it in his comments. And
was it because there was like a recent interview on GCN with Tadej Pogacar's coach, and apparently Tadej's coach is like,
who's his coach?
Some crazy European dude. I don't know.
That makes sense.
There's like some huge, his like philosophy on Zone 2 is like,
wait, who's
have you not?
Ingo,
I'm surprised you haven't seen that one.
Who is Ingo San Milan coach?
Is that him?
Yeah, he's from CU.
Oh.
No, I don't know if he coaches him or does he? He's physiologist. Whatever.
Yeah. But whatever. He's big on Zone 2. And that's where Mark's big on Zone 2. It's basically just running like 6-minute pace. Okay. I think for us about.
Klecker miles.
Yeah.
It's Klecker did it first.
Klecker mile Zone 2.
You got to send that to me, George. I'd be interested to learn more about Zone 2.
I'm surprised you haven't. Sam Milan. This is Tadej's coach.
Yeah. He worked with us at CU.
It's called Zone 2 and Beyond. on
So all this explanation is going into helping him on his first date. So we're explaining zone 2 so that if she gets confused.
Well, he needs to have a good understanding of
Yeah.
it. You can't come in shaky on what zone 2 is.
Yeah, so this
Not
is
at
good for
all.
him because
Yeah.
then if he explains zone
probably-
2 to her, she's gonna be like, wow.
can't chat threshold if you don't know the zones below it.
Yeah.
Start with the fundamentals.
Exactly.
So
Like you're not going to touch VO2 work. You're not going to get
Not
that.
on
at
this
least,
date.
like,
Maybe
second
the
or
second or the third date you might get to VO2, but wouldn't bother on the first one.
well, Mo, I think I don't think you probably need any more advice. I think
No.
you're good to go.
Good luck.
Very excited for you. Let us know how it goes.
Yes.
And maybe hold back on a pastry.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
depending on how you feel, it's just like a risk. It's a big risk factor.
Honestly, second coffee is probably better than a pastry.
I would say.
Yeah.
Not if you get like jittery though.
Well, that's
What-
true.
what if-
Maybe you don't
if-
have any
if you're low
caffeine
sensitive?
before. If he's caffeine sensitive, then yeah, maybe decaf.
Cup
Just
of
say
water.
decaf.
You always got to have something that you can just be like doing.
Sipping,
'Cause
yeah.
if you have nothing there, if you're trying to take like,
Just fidgeting with your hands.
It's like an interview.
yeah, it's like
becomes an
interview.
interview.
Then. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, then you get on your phone, look at your Strava. You know.
Have a fidget spinner maybe.
Just bringing a fidget spinner from 3 years ago to your first date in 2024. I miss my fidget spinner. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today, Joe. While you have the platform, anything else you'd like to share with the fans out there?
Yeah, just that we're excited for BU, which will be about a week after this pod drops. It's been a good winter. Looking forward to the Olympic year. Probably be on here, hopefully, if I'm running well before the Olympics. But yeah, no, I think ready to get the season going.
Hell
you know,
yeah.
just been a long fall, long winter.
Yeah, we're all very excited to get into it. So that's it for this episode of the Coffee Club podcast from us. Thank you very much for listening, and we will see you all next week.